Hey everybody, today I'll be reacting to Zerokittenz. Yeah, that's it. Let's just get right into this video.
Yeah, like I see it in Roblox videos and I'm like, ew, you're a weirdo. But now that I'm playing it, I'm like,
damn, you a dickie. Let me slap that ass. Turn around.
oh my god. What the fuck?
Hell no, don't give me that heart, bitch. I don't want that shit. Oh fuck, I'm drowning. Come save me, madam. I need your savings.
Yeah, man, I'm a dinosaur. What?
Online daters, where are you?
They're always hiding behind like houses and shit, you know?
Hell yeah.
Standing in front of each other. We gotta find them.
I know, remember last time we saw them, they was fucking kissing and making out, making love and shit? Like, what the fuck was they doing? Oh, do I see somebody over here? I think I saw somebody.
Oh my god. You walk over there so quickly.
Dude, I don't see anybody. What the fuck? Okay. Dude, what the fuck? The guy almost hit me.
He just glitched in the wall. What?
What the fuck, madam? Oh my god, dude.
No respect. I'm so bad at this. Please, he's driving away from me. I'm cheating.
Let's get this motherfucker. You can't run forever. Ah, take that. What the fuck? Dude. Alright, madam, at this point, he's teasing us. Oh my fucking god.
You know, I'll just leave him.
No, don't kill me, bro. Don't kill me. Get back here, bitch. Alright, you won't die. This guy literally has superpowers.
Why me? You're the chosen one.
Dude, I can't even imagine this kid being scared in real life. He's probably terrified.
It gets sacrificed.
It's like our swords are not working. Like, we got like Walmart version swords. This shit is not working.
You literally can't kill him.
Oh, it don't work. Wow, he's like, oh, this will work though. Oh, that did.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, yo. Dicky, icky, dicky. Oh shit! Bro, you made that bitch fly. Oh shit!
Oh my gosh, he's flying off.
Oh my god, it can be fucking thick. Get over here. Fuck you.
Fuck him up, fuck him up.
World star.
Oh shit! You made that bitch. Oh shit!
What?
What the? You won't hit me. You don't got the balls to hit me. Yeah. What's up?
Can't now.
What's up? Yeah. Ooh, I can take that. Ooh, I'm taking it. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Oh! Oh fuck no! Fuck! Bye, Adam. You're dead. You're running like you have something in your ass.
Wow. I feel attacked. I want to set it back. What was it called? Like R3 or something, whatever. Something. I'm sick of this. I just want my Lego ass back.
You have no ass. What are you talking about, madam?
Wow.
Yeah, get triggered. You're my teddy bear. Oh my fucking god. You're not my type. What? Oh, he doesn't fuck with you.
What?
Rejected.
He doesn't fuck with you, dude.
What?
Now your ass got rejected.
There's Erica.
You said Erica Costello? What the fuck?
Erica. No, I typed
Hell
Erica.
no, you put the wrong dude.
Erica.
You put Erica and then you put Costello. You literally put two people in one name. What the fuck?
I put Erica and it lagged. I swear to God, I put Erica. Oh no.
Oh my god, bro. You put Erica Costello. What the fuck? Hell no, dude. What the fuck is this thing? You see this? There's like this stripper guy. What the? Alright, that's it. Bye. Subscribe to Madam. See ya.
Next reaction video. Okay, I go and go watch this. I'll be right back. I'm finally watching Skyboost. After this,
I'm Susan, and I'm studying to become a high school English teacher. But going to college in the United States is incredibly expensive. And I'm already $40,000 in debt. On a teacher salary, it's gonna take forever to pay it off. But luckily, I found a really weird job. I'm supposed to meet up with guys and just talk to them. Sometimes it's like a date, but mostly it's all about having an interesting conversation or going to the opera together. And no, I'm not going home with the guy afterward. It's just a date. Even though some guys want me to pretend that I'm their girlfriend and they expect me to laugh at their jokes, like I was completely in love with them. But recently, I met this one guy who wanted to see me every single weekend. And I decided to do a bit of cyberstalking. That's when I found out that he was married with 3 kids. Now I was seriously confused, and I wasn't sure if he was cheating with me on his wife. I mean, we were only talking to each other and eating at fine restaurants, but it kind of felt wrong. So the next time we saw each other, I asked him if his wife knew about us. He explained that he and his wife had fallen out of love a long time ago, and that they only stayed together for their kids. I wasn't sure if I believed him, but then he asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with him to Paris. For some reason, that really creeped me out. Flying with a stranger to a different continent? No way. That's why I decided to not go on any more dates with him. Don't get me wrong, he was a nice guy, and he even worked as a doctor at a hospital. But he was also 35 years older than me, so no thank you. I know I have a really weird job, but it's not as bad as it sounds, even though I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Because it could definitely happen that you meet some weirdo that will stalk you afterward. But so far, I was lucky, and didn't have any bad experiences. It's just that I'm completely broke, and if I worked at Starbucks 8 hours a day, I would barely even make enough money to pay for rent. And how shall I find time to study while working a full-time job? A couple of my college friends even have to live in their cars because they can't afford to pay rent. They say it's really uncomfortable at night, and they're always worried that someone will smash their window and steal their stuff. I don't want to live like that. It's much easier for me to go on a fake date with some old guy, especially because the agency I work with always does a background check on the men I meet, which means that I don't have to be worried about meeting a criminal. The men I date sometimes pay me up to $200 just to talk to me for a few hours. I guess they really like me because I'm well-read and educated. I can talk about almost any topic, from politics to history. But of course, I haven't told my parents about my job. They are very conservative and super judgmental. If my dad found out I was going on dates with older men, he would probably disown me, or worse. He already thinks I'm a disappointment because I decided to become a high school teacher instead of a doctor. He says my kids will someday grow up in poverty and it's all my fault. But he isn't the perfect guy he thinks he is, because after he inherited $300,000 from his dad, he lost it all in a big investment scam. He wanted to become rich fast, and now he's as broke as before. And with those $300,000 he lost, I could have easily paid for my college tuition. But, instead, I have to work as a fake girlfriend and go on dates with 60-year-old men. I mean, please don't think that this is my dream job. I would much rather chill at home or go out with some of my friends. But I can't do that because my dad has never learned how to manage his money. All he can do is criticize his daughter for not being ambitious enough. Just thinking about my dad makes me angry. Maybe I'll send him a photo of me with some old guy that I'm on a date with, and then write into the caption, "My new boyfriend." I know that it would drive him crazy, and he definitely deserves it. Because last year, he and my mom divorced after she caught him having an affair with their maid. I couldn't believe it at first, because my dad had always preached about the sacred bond of marriage. The older I get, the more I realize that my dad is a complete hypocrite. He always forced us to go to church each Sunday. But now I realize that he never actually practiced what he preached. I wish I could simply stop caring about what my dad thinks of me. But it's not that easy. For some reason, I still think about him all the time, and I still want to make him proud. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you could ever work as a fake girlfriend and go on dates with 60-year-old men.
This
Hi,
is a
my
scary
name
one.
is Jen. Now,
I
call me
think.
curious, but I often find myself thinking about, do I know the people around me? What beautiful and terrible things are they capable of? Well, today I will tell you a story about my best buddy Charlie. Or rather, not about him, but about the man who hid under this name all his life. It all happened on a rainy evening in the fall. My friend Charlie and I agreed to meet at a cafe on the outskirts of the city. This place is pretty deserted, but the local chef made the best steaks in the whole district. Charlie was late, and his phone was turned off. It wasn't like him at all. Having finished with the steak, I decided to go home, and tomorrow I'd remind Charlie about how I don't like to wait. Catching a cab in the middle of nowhere is another problem, so I walked to the nearest subway station. I thought over the reasons why Charlie might not have come when I suddenly heard screams coming from a dark alley. It seemed that someone was calling for help. Without thinking, I took out my phone and dialed 911. Someone shouted again, and I couldn't stay away. Pressing the phone to my ear, I ran into the alley. What I saw changed my life forever. 911, we're listening to you, said the dispatcher on the phone. A man in an old-fashioned coat was lying in a pool of blood with frozen, glazed eyes. And above him was a guy in a white shirt with a bloody knife in his hand. 911, we're listening to you, speak. But now I didn't know what to say. The guy with the knife in his hand was Charlie, my best friend, and he had just killed a man. The dispatcher increasingly demanded an answer. If I tell the truth, then the person most dear to me will go to jail for many, many years. But could Charlie, whom I'd known from childhood, kill a man? Or had I never known the real Charlie? At that moment, I remembered the day we first met. I was 13. My parents decided to move from a noisy and bustling metropolis to a quiet and cozy suburb. Our new home seemed to me just awful, but even worse were our new neighbours, the Fletchers. Mrs. Fletcher invited us to a family dinner. Her colourful handkerchief tied to her head seemed so funny to me. Mrs. Fletcher smiled, agreeing that it was pretty funny. She said that we and her son would get along fine. Her son's name was Charlie. He was silent and gloomy, like his father. I tried to talk to him, even remembered a joke about broccoli and asparagus, but I could tell from his appearance that Charlie wasn't interested. I was very angry with him. A few months later, Mrs. Fletcher, this cheerful and kind woman, died of cancer. My parents helped Mr. Fletcher, who had seemed to age 10 years. My mum asked me to talk to Charlie. Charlie didn't seem to want to talk at all. So then, I decided to speak. I chatted incessantly about my dog, the new school, and about the broken clocks and souvenir magnets on our fridge. A few years later, Charlie admitted that that evening he hadn't cried for the first time in several months. Since then, Charlie and I have been talking every night. I actually didn't notice how we became best friends. As the school years flew by, Charlie and I spent most of our free time together. I helped him win the heart of Susan Mitchell, a cute girl who had liked him since the lower grades, and Charlie helped me with math. Without his help, I would have never received a college scholarship. Our student years flashed past in an instant, and here Charlie and I are, students on the threshold of adulthood. A few days before receiving diplomas, we decided to meet in a cafe and chat like in the good old days. And now I'm here, and I have to decide the fate of my best friend. I was scared. Any time now, Charlie would suddenly see me and decide to get rid of the witness. The dispatcher repeated his question. What happened to you? I had already decided. The only thing I could do was tell him about the murder. But literally like 5 steps away from me, behind the trash can, something stirred. In surprise, I dropped the phone. Charlie saw me and slowly walked in my direction. I wanted to run, but then I heard someone softly sobbing. A scared and tearful girl appeared from behind the garbage can. She rushed to Charlie and hugged him. Thank you, said the girl. Charlie dropped the knife and looked at me. Jin, call the police. Later, I found out that the taxi Charlie had ridden in had gotten stuck in traffic. His phone was dead, and he had decided to walk. He had heard shouts and, without hesitation, ran to the rescue. A man in an old-fashioned coat was trying to silence a screaming girl. Trying to protect the girl, Charlie had mortally wounded the stranger with his own knife. Turns out, the man Charlie killed was a maniac who was wanted by the police long ago. I am ashamed that I had even doubted my friend for a second. So, guys, don't jump to conclusions, okay? Don't prematurely condemn a person. Often
Yes,
at
he
first
does.
glance, we only see villains, but we We only have to look closer, and we will see a hero in each of us. Once Charlie said to me, I hardly remember how it happened. I was angry and determined to kill. Jin, am I really a killer like him? No, Charlie. You saved that girl. You didn't take her life. You saved her. Charlie, no doubt, did the right thing, but he still doubts whether he made the right choice. Perhaps this makes him a man. That timid and slightly naive
Guys,
Charlie
bye-bye.